Tonight, overhaul on the horizon.
So we're going to see stricter, provisions for those kinds of folks.
How soon long sought after updates to Canada's bail system will go into effect, and why some say the story's not over yet. Also tonight,
this doesn't really change our management to it.
Manitoba's top doctor weighs in as the U.S. CDC issues a travel notice for Manitoba. Plus, unenthused electorate. What a new poll says about Winnipeggers' enthusiasm or lack thereof heading into this fall's mayoral election.
CTV News. Live from downtown Winnipeg with Mayoral Caruso.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us. Conversations around bail reform have been front and center at City Hall, the Manitoba Legislature, and on Parliament Hill. And after years of debate, tonight changes are coming to bail and sentencing in Canada. CTV's Daniel Helmerson is standing by live with all the details. So Daniel, how soon are we talking?
On July 15th, Mayoral, that's when the federal government's Bill C-14 comes into force. Politicians here in the city and the province are applauding the changes on the way, but some of those working in the court system says there's still a lot of work to be done. Stricter bail conditions and sentencing for certain crimes are on the way. On Tuesday, Bill C-14, the Bail and Sentencing Reform Act, received royal assent in the House of Commons. It's welcome news for Manitoba politicians who have been pushing Ottawa to introduce bail reform.
It's all about keeping communities safe, and so, anytime we're talking about violent repeat offenders, we knew that we needed to see changes made.
The legislation makes it more difficult to get bail for a variety of crimes, especially for violent and repeat offenders, by imposing a reverse onus on bail. The changes shift the burden of proof from the prosecutor to the accused. It means they will need to demonstrate why they should be released on bail. The legislation also toughens sentencing for crimes including offenses against first responders and for organized retail theft, something Mayor Scott Gillingham has been vocal about.
This is about safety for the public. It's about making sure that our communities are safer from individuals who have in the past been granted bail, and while they're out on bail, recommitting crime and wreaking havoc in our communities.
But Manitoba Crown Attorney Ben Wickstrom says more resources are needed.
What I would say generally is harsher sentences and a harsher approach results in more litigation. You can double the size of the criminal code if you want to, but if there aren't prosecutors, judges, and defense lawyers to handle that work, you're not going to get very far.
And criminal defense lawyer Chelsea Suderman questions if the Bail and Sentencing Reform Act will do enough to curb repeat offenders.
But until we're ready to fund additional programs and have people accessing more rehabilitative steps while in custody, I don't think this is going to do much.
Manitoba Justice Minister Matt Wiebe added the new legislation ties into his government's 5-point bail plan. He pointed to its electronic monitoring program and the Winnipeg Police Bail Unit as some of the other initiatives already in place.
Danny, is there enough capacity here in Manitoba if more people end up behind bars longer?
Minister Wiebe says they are taking steps, Mayoral. He says the Canoe government has hired more corrections officers and they're building a new corrections center in Dauphin.
All right, thanks for this, Daniel. The U.S. Centre for Disease Control and Prevention has officially issued a travel notice for our province over the ongoing Hepatitis A outbreak.
We see populations that are increased risk in Winnipeg, those with housing issues, those who use drugs and other substances. And so we really see that outbreak continuing.
The CDC's website issued a level 1 warning related to the hepatitis A outbreak, advising travelers to take precautions for safety and hygiene. 4 people have died since that outbreak started last year, and cases continue to spread. As of June 4th, 784 cases of the virus have been reported in the province. And while the majority are being seen in northern Manitoba, 186 cases are among Winnipeggers.
This is certainly nothing, not responding to anything new, right? We've had this outbreak since early 2025, and so this is public health messaging. right? They're not deterring anybody or suggesting anyone avoid travel to Manitoba, just informing them of the situation here, advising them to have their vaccines up to date and those routine practices. So this doesn't really change our management to it.
Hepatitis A is a disease of the liver caused by the hepatitis A virus. The CDC says it's highly contagious and spreads through close person-to-person contact. The organization is advising travelers to get vaccinated against the virus, practice good hand hygiene, avoid sharing needles, and to engage in safe sex. Dr. Rusin says there are no current plans to declare the outbreak a state of emergency, as it wouldn't provide any additional resources to the province. The Hanover School Division passed a controversial motion this week. Parents will be able to exert more control over their children's health care and counseling, even if the students are considered mature minors. Here to break down what this means is CTV's Joseph Bernacki. So, Joseph, what makes this so controversial?
Mayoral, some parents I spoke to say the motion pits teachers against parents, counselors, and even other parents. A mature minor is considered a 16 or 17-year-old who is capable of making health care decisions like accessing counseling and getting vaccinated. But a group of parents says the wording of this motion may put some youth at risk. Some Hanover School Division parents, which includes the city of Steinbach, are concerned about a recent motion passed by the school board.
It's gross overreach at the very, very least. The purpose, the objective of a school board is to provide direction for the education and the safety of students.
That's the voice of Jane Wilson. She's a spokesperson for the Hanover Parents Alliance for Diversity and a division parent. She says the motion, which makes parents the primary decision makers in school buildings, takes away student health choices.
Whether vaccination or, any other medications for any purpose.
The motion, passed at the beginning of June, states the mature minor category will not be honored in division schools. A mature minor is a 16 to 17-year-old considered capable of making decisions for themselves. Hanover Board Chair Dallas Wiebe declined an interview but sent a statement saying, in part, the board has heard concerns from parents regarding trust, communication, and transparency, and believes these principles are important to maintaining public confidence in education. Wilson says the motion places a wedge between teachers and parents. She says not every youth has a safe home to go to or a parent they trust.
I recognize that there may still be things, as good as our relationship is, that they don't feel comfortable coming to me.
The decision is being applauded by some parents on social media. We reached out to a number for comment, but they either did not want to appear on camera or did not respond before deadline. In the meantime, the Manitoba Advocate for Children and Youth says the division's motion to override young people's ability to make health care decisions completely ignores their rights. They say it is also in opposition to the Health Care Directives Act and the Public Schools Act.
Joseph, where does the province stand on this?
Mayoral Tracy Schmidt, Minister of Education and Early Childhood Learning, sent us a statement saying her department met with the Hanover School Board this week and are currently reviewing the policy. She writes, "My message was that trustees have a responsibility to ensure their policies make every student safe and feel included in school, and we discussed the importance of having educational experts at the table when resources are being reviewed."
All right, thanks for this, Joseph. Well, don't be surprised if you hear some smooth saxophone or funky beats coming from the Exchange District this week. The Winnipeg International Jazz Festival is underway. Live at Old Market Square, which is the center of all of the action tonight, is CTV's Taylor Brock. Looking very cool, Taylor. Fitting right in. What's going on?
Thank you, thank you. That was the whole point. I figured if I am going to Winnipeg's biggest jazz fest, I might as well try to fit the part. I've been having a blast here today at Old Market Square, the Cube, as the Winnipeg Jazz Festival just kicked off today. And as I said, I've been having fun. It's cool, but also hot on stage. Coming up at 6:30, another band is making its way to the Cube. Actually, tonight until 11 o'clock, the last act takes the stage. So if you do live in the Exchange District, you might want to get some earplugs for the next few nights, because the Winnipeg Jazz Fest is on throughout the entire weekend. But fantastic music already, and it's just the start. We are not just celebrating a Jazz Fest here at hit the cube all over Winnipeg. We're seeing acts at the High Lonesome Club, Little Brown Jug, and later we're going to take you to the Burt. But in the meantime, as much as I love my job, Mayoral, I might quit my night job.
No.
And I'm going to join the band. We'll see.
No, you can only do that on weekends. No. Somebody take that drum away from her. Colleen.
Wow, look at her go.
That cool hat has gone to Taylor's head.
Sure has.
Somebody get control of her.
She's a cool cat, that
she
Taylor
is very
Brock.
cool. Yeah, she's maybe too cool. All right, Colleen. Temperature is a little cooler than normal. I'm just hoping it's going to stay dry for a day stretch.
I mean, you know, here's the thing. I've been talking an awful lot about that low that's been stalled out over northern Manitoba. It's still just spinning around. I will explain why and how it's responsible for the showers and non-severe thunderstorms that have been firing off today in southern Manitoba and in northwestern Ontario. And when we will see that sun shining again, it won't be for too much longer, the wait. Anyway, more on that coming up. Let's take a look right now through the CTV Live. It is brought to you by Bathfitter, exclusive home of the PermaFit solution. In Winnipeg right now, it is dry here, 17 degrees, winds out of the north-northeast at 26 kilometers an hour. The pressure's rising. The humidity right now, Mayoral, is 57%.
Thanks, Colleen. We're learning more tonight about a two-vehicle crash in Winnipeg St. John's neighborhood we told you about last night. Manitoba's police watchdog now says one of the vehicles was stolen, and police had actually been following it prior to the crash. Eventually, officers decided not to pursue it for safety reasons, and shortly after the noon hour, it crashed into a second vehicle at the intersection of Mountain Avenue and Salter Street. The independent investigation unit says the driver of the stolen vehicle left the scene and still has not been identified. 3 passengers were sent to hospital with injuries of, quote, varying severity. The driver of the other vehicle suffered minor injuries and was also sent to hospital. Anyone who witnessed the crash or has other information that may help is asked to contact the IIU. It continues to be a treacherous summer on Manitoba highways. 2 people were killed in separate crashes about 6 hours apart early this morning. The first happened shortly after midnight on Highway 59 near Prefontaine Road, just northeast of Niverville. Mounties say a northbound vehicle crossed into the path of a southbound semi-truck. The 20-year-old man from Ontario driving that vehicle was declared dead at the scene. His passenger, a 13-year-old boy from Steinbach, was airlifted to hospital with serious but non-life-threatening injuries. The 45-year-old man from Alberta behind the wheel of the semi was not injured. And about 6 hours later, up in northern Manitoba, RCMP were called to a single vehicle rollover in Pimicikamak Cree Nation. Officers say a vehicle traveling at a high rate of speed left the road, rolled, and hit a tree. The 20-year-old woman behind the wheel was declared dead at the scene. Her passenger, a 16-year-old girl, was brought to the local nursing station with non-life-threatening injuries. Anyone with information on that crash is asked to contact Cross Lake RCMP. Hospital emergency departments are busy places. There are people with critical health problems who need a doctor's attention ASAP. But many ERs are also seeing other people arriving with problems that can't be solved by medical staff, which is why social workers are working nonstop at HSC. And as CTV's John Hendrick shows you, more of these workers will soon be added to other hospitals.
Not everyone who shows up at the emergency department is seeking care from a doctor or nurse.
Patients will often present to the ED for social needs, such as finding shelter, accessing resources, or requiring transportation to their home communities.
And for people like that, HSC has a team of social workers. They're currently on duty 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, helping people deal with mental health, addictions, or housing challenges. Now, the province will add more social worker positions to St. Boniface, Seven Oaks, Concordia, and Victoria hospitals.
By adding these social workers to the healthcare system, we are providing more opportunities to connect patients to essential and timely resources, which will contribute to reducing emergency wait times.
It's a move supported by Doctors Manitoba. In a statement, President Dr. Alon Altman writes, Many patients who come to ERs and urgent cares not only have medical concerns, but also complex social challenges. And social workers have vital expertise to support these patients. Physicians have asked for more social work resources in emergency and urgent care departments, and that is why we see the news today of additional social workers as a strong step in the right direction.
For nurses, we're supportive of anything that is going to support our staff in emergencies.
However, Manitoba Nurses Union President Darlene Jackson says it would be better if that support could arrive before they showed up at the ER. Health Minister Uzoma Azaguara says that's exactly what the province is moving toward.
What is foundational is having these experts in the right places so that folks can go from these acute settings back into community and be received in community with the right level of care to prevent them from unnecessarily coming right back.
The total cost of adding the additional social workers to the hospitals is roughly $1.2 million annually. John Hendricks, CTV News, Winnipeg.
A new survey suggests Winnipeggers are not optimistic about life in the city or the incumbent mayor ahead of this fall's election. The Probe Research poll found more than 2/3 feel the quality of life in Winnipeg has gotten worse over the past 4 years. Just 15% say it's gotten better, while the rest say it stayed the same. And only 1 in 5 want Scott Gillingham re-elected. Almost 1/2 want to see a new mayor. But less than 1 in 10 say a new mayor and council would make a major difference in dealing with the issues facing the city. The poll was commissioned by the Winnipeg Free Press. 600 Winnipeg adults were surveyed between May 25th and June 8th. It has a margin of error of plus or minus 4 points 95% of the time. And another candidate has thrown their name into the Winnipeg mayoral race. Johnny Calderon is the 8th candidate to register. He describes himself as a comedian, musician, and entertainer, and says his priorities are reducing crime and uniting the city. Winnipeggers head to the polls on October 28th. Candidates can register right up until September 22nd. Still to come tonight, no official sit-down, but plenty of sideline discussions.
And he likes the structure, actually. We had a follow-up conversation about it as well.
Returning from the G7 summit, the Prime Minister delves into his informal discussions with President Trump surrounding trade and Iran. Plus, what the Transportation Safety Board is saying about maritime safety going forward as it releases a report into the Titan submersible tragedy. Stay with us. It was a mixed day on the markets. Crude oil added 74 cents. The loonie dropped to 71.26 cents U.S. Gold futures closed $27 higher. The TSX lost 264 points. The Dow Jones fell 507 points, while the Nasdaq slid 354 points. A registered sex offender has pleaded guilty to assaulting a child in a St. Vital school bathroom last fall. An agreed statement of facts read in court shows Scott William George entered Darwin School on November 27th after being kicked out of Dakota Collegiate. There, details reveal a 9-year-old girl exited a bathroom stall to find a man dressed in black. He grabbed her around the waist and put his hand over her mouth. She was able to break free and run to her classroom, alerting staff. The school principal's husband was nearby and actually spotted a suspicious man in the parking lot. He followed that man to St. Vital Center, where George was later arrested by police. Yesterday, George pleaded guilty to all 6 charges against him, including assault, forcible confinement, and breaching prohibitions from a 2023 sexual interference conviction. The Crown and defense lawyers are seeking an 8-year sentence. A sentencing date will be set July 17th. The province is putting interim safety measures in place at a Brandon intersection, which was the site of a fatal crash last month. The intersection at Highway 110 and Richmond Avenue East has now been converted to an always stop in preparation for the activation of traffic signals. Approach speeds are also being reduced to 70 kilometers per hour. Rumble strips are being installed and parallel turning lanes are being closed to enhance safety at the intersection, while work is done to integrate the signal system. The driver involved in the May 27th collision is charged with dangerous driving, causing death. A Winnipeg bakery is calling for safety upgrades because of the number of vehicle collisions outside its shop. The co-owner of Goodies at Aaron and Wall says several cars and trucks have smashed into the building over the last decade. CTV's Jeff Keel now on changes a city councillor says could be made to make that intersection safer.
The desserts inside Goody's Bake Shop are a delight, but outside the bakery, it's not always a treat.
Been hit quite a few times, lots of insurance claims.
Co-owner Linda Peters says the Erin and Ellis intersection, where Goody's is located, is notorious for crashes, but not just between vehicles. Some smash right into her business. She says this corner wall has taken a beating over the years. Here you can see pictures of smashed vehicles where the light standard was knocked into the building. One of the more serious incidents in 2020, a semi-truck rammed into the business across the street.
Oh, the building shakes, and the sound is like every time, it's just like, it's devastating. You're just hoping like, oh, nobody's hurt.
Since 2020, MPI says there have been 224 collisions at Erin and Ellis, including 20 already this year. Peters is worried about her customers and staff. She wants safety upgrades made to the intersection. Area Councillor Cindy Gilroy has a motion at City Hall to study several options, including a speed limit reduction, red light or speed cameras, and boulevard barriers.
I've been asking for bollards for many years at that intersection. It hasn't happened, but I think there's lots of different things that the city could be looking at.
The city says bollards are not feasible, but improvements have been made here, including making the traffic signal more visible and reducing lane widths to curb speed. Plus, the speed limit is being studied. Peters hopes something can be done. She's had to make so many insurance claims that coverage has been hard to come by.
We were too much of a liability because of the amount of accidents. So I really have to pay a big premium because of the amount of accidents. We're considered high risk.
Jeff Keel, CTV News, Winnipeg.
Police are investigating a workplace death in the RM of Stanley. It happened around 3:30 yesterday afternoon at a commercial farming business south of Winkler. Police say a 68-year-old man from the RM of Rhineland was working when he became entangled in some machinery. He died at the scene from his injuries. Both RCMP and Manitoba Workplace Health and Safety are investigating. Prime Minister Mark Carney is coming back from the G7 summit without having an official one-on-one with U.S. President Donald Trump. He's giving insight, though, into his interactions with the president and his reaction to the tentative peace deal between the U.S. and Iran. CTV's Mike LeCouture reports.
He had asked me about it on China.
Prime Minister Mark Carney explaining the hot mic moment captured at yesterday's G7 summit, confirming he was explaining the details to President Donald Trump about Canada's deal to allow Chinese EVs into the country.
And he likes the structure, actually. We had a follow-up conversation about it as well.
Carney says the two leaders had several conversations, but none of them included the CUSMA renewal. One of the bigger discussions at the G7 was the Iran deal. In a joint statement, leaders agreed there is a need to diversify trade routes to prevent choke points for energy supply chains, as we saw with the closure of the Strait of Hormuz. The statement also says, quote, "We welcome the potential for Canada to deliver significant additional capacity to global markets in the coming years." Carney says there are a number of projects and plans, both online and in the works.
There's other European offtakes in the work for Canadian LNG, and then as well, expansion of TMX, the oil pipeline.
Back in Ottawa, Conservatives had this reaction to that proposal.
This is evolving a little bit. It needs to evolve a lot faster than it has. It's a great resource we have in Canada. The whole world knows it's a great resource. It's been constrained by bad government policy.
Carney also described the Iran deal as a game changer, as he feels Trump's view of the war in Ukraine is shifting.
Change in orientation, a more realistic, in our view, expectation of where this war was going to go, and the position against Russia, the tightening of sanctions against Russia, the ability to provide additional defensive support for Ukraine.
The G7 leaders also agreed to consider giving Ukraine the critical licenses to increase domestic military production for things like missiles. It's something that President Volodymyr Zelensky has been asking for since last year. Mike LeCouture, CTV News, Evian, France.
Canada's Transportation Safety Board has released a report on the submersible disaster which killed 5 people nearly 3 years ago. The report says Transport Canada knew the Titan was operating out of St. John's with support from Canadian vessels, but the department didn't provide oversight of the submersible's operations. The Safety Board says the hull was likely damaged by each dive to the Titanic until it finally imploded. The report is recommending Transport Canada come up with a plan to determine whether an uncertified vessel poses a safety risk and then monitor that vessel more closely. A fast-moving wildfire in the West Kelowna region of BC has been contained. More than 800 people are displaced and an evacuation order has been issued. It's been downgraded, though, now to an evacuation alert.
We could see leaping flames.
So I had about a dozen missed calls from my wife, and she told me to rush home quickly because the park was on fire below us.
The fire broke out yesterday and spread quickly, threatening homes near Okanagan Lake. More than 800 people were displaced, and officials believe this fire was caused by humans. An RCMP officer in Quebec is charged with uttering threats online against Donald Trump. And the 34-year-old is alleged to have done it while working security at the G7 summit last year in Alberta. That Mountie is accused of posting a video online making threatening comments about Trump, and it was a fellow officer who reported it.
The RCMP is taking this charge very seriously. As police officers, and especially with the RCMP, we are brought to a certain standard that we have to act professionally in our personal life and our job as well as a professional life. But especially on social media, we know that everyone has access to social media, so it is very important that we act correctly and professional on our social media accounts as well.
The officer is scheduled to appear in court July 30th. The Winnipeg Jets have just released the 2026-27 preseason schedule, and the Jets will open the preseason on the road with a game against the Edmonton Oilers on Saturday, September 19th. The team returns home for a pair of games, hitting the ice Monday, September 21st against the Colorado Avalanche, and then they welcome Edmonton to Canada Life Centre a day later. The preseason wraps up Friday, September 25th in Denver against the Avalanche. The regular season schedule will be announced next month.
Well, it looks like I'm keeping my night job. Still to come, we'll hear more about Winnipeg's jazz influence on the world. In the meantime, we'll leave it to the professionals. Hit it! Never mind.
Wow. Temperatures will remain a little cool for this time of year throughout the long-range forecast, but dry for the most part, except possibly for Friday. Showers are possible, otherwise a mix of sun and cloud. Just 19 degrees, though. We should be hitting highs about 5 degrees warmer than that. Mix of sun and cloud Saturday, 20 degrees. Father's Day, Manitoba Marathon Race Day. Nice day, 22 degrees in the afternoon under a mix of sun and cloud. Clouding over Monday, 23, up to 23 again on Tuesday, again with a low chance of showers.
As we told you earlier, the 35th annual Winnipeg International Jazz Festival is back this week. CTV's Taylor Brock has made her way over to Burton Cummings Theatre, where the doors have just opened for one of tonight's performances. So Taylor, how are things going over there now?
A little quieter now that I've cued the band. Don't worry. Pretty soon, the Burt will be rocking, though, and that is exactly why Angela is here to chat with us. Angela, we chatted just for a moment about Winnipeg's international reach, like the back and forth that you've been working on. What can we expect with this festival?
This festival is all full of great international acts, and in fact, one of the things that we've really prided ourselves this year is on bringing groups from Iceland, from Hungary, from France, and many more over to our international showcase. They're all completely different styles, but they're all so amazing. That's really something for people to discover here.
That's actually one of the things I love about jazz is it's all over the place. Like if someone says, "Oh, I don't like jazz," have you listened to jazz?
Jazz is just a really big expression for a lot of incredible music, and you'll see all of that at the festival this year. We've got Soul Supreme tonight, and doing two amazing sets as a tribute to D'Angelo. Last night we had Stephen Remble, who is more of the Django Reinhardt kind of style, and there's just so much. ADHD from Iceland is an absolute must-see, and it will blow your mind in ways. I mean, it's the country that gave you Bjork, so, you know, you're prepare for the unexpected.
Well, speaking of preparing for the unexpected, obviously as a jazz lover, I'm sure you have some musicians in mind for a dream concert to watch, and I think there's a special tribute going on this weekend to a name that many people may recognize.
There is indeed. There is the Miles Electric Band that's happening on Father's Day on Sunday, the 21st. They'll be here at the Burt, and it's going to be an incredible experience with members of Miles Davis's bands from his electric era. So it's actually a progression of the music from that time. So it's not a tribute per se, but it is anybody who would be interested in like Jimi Hendrix or the like would be like just blown away by this.
So it sounds like a really good way to dip your toe into jazz then.
It's really eclectic. It is familiar at the same time, and to be honest, it's also a good Dad's Day gift if you kind of forgot about that coming up.
Of course, no one did. And earlier I was trying to join the band with my bongo. Any room to join tonight's show?
You can come enjoy it. There's 2 amazing sets starting at 7:30, and it's going to be 12 amazing artists on stage. You did hear the sound check, and it's sounding so good. So that's something to look forward to.
So in other words, I'll leave it at home. Thanks so much. Again, Jazz Fest is happening all weekend long.
CTV Skywatch weather brought to you by South Beach Casino and Resort. Visit southbeachcasino.ca.
Colleen Brady is back now with your complete Skywatch forecast. I know a lot of those concerts are taking place outdoors at Old Market Square. What's the weather looking like for Jazz Fest?
Actually, it's going to get better throughout the course of the night, and I think Taylor has some mad skills, as the kids say. So maybe we'll see her on those bongos yet tonight out in Old Market Square. Here's hoping. The sky will clear out as we move throughout the evening, and those north winds that have been a little strong and gusty, particularly here in the southeast this afternoon and into this evening, they will ease up as well. But still in the southwest, you can see we have showers moving through places like Souris, Deloraine, Pipestone, moving southeast into the U.S. there. Here in the southeast, well, we did have a shower that came through Winnipeg late this afternoon. It looks like that for the most part will be out of the way here, but move a little further east into northwestern Ontario. You can see we still have this line of non-severe thunderstorms. Looks like they've moved through places like Dryden and Sioux Lookout. Now, all of this instability in the south is caused in large part because of that low that I've been talking about since late last week that's just been stuck over the northeast. Basically, it's a cut-off low, pardon me. Essentially, like it sounds, it's cut off from the steering winds of the jet stream, and it's just sort of spinning around and around and around, and it's continuing to send showers across much of the north, and it's been lobbing that cool air down here in the south, helping in part to create those showers and non-severe thunderstorms and just a general unsettled weather pattern here in the south that's continued for several days. But as we get into the night ahead, you can see the sky starts to clear out considerably here in the south. The winds will ease up as well. Overnight, not a lot happening here in the north, though we'll have some showers continuing, but areas along the coastline of Hudson Bay, like Churchill, temperatures are going to really stick around the freezing mark for the next few days. So showers that will be moving there might mix in with a little bit of snow at times. Sunshine to start off the day on Thursday, sunny throughout much of the day. In the southeast, we may catch some showers in the afternoon. In the southwest, there's a chance of it. Into Friday morning, there's a better chance we'll see some showers swing through southern Manitoba, including here in Winnipeg. For tonight, clearing, we drop to 8. These north winds, a little strong to start, they will back off. They're already in the process of diminishing. They'll be lighter for the bulk of the night. 11 in the sunshine tomorrow for the commute. Northwest winds at 20 kilometers an hour. The UV index, we'll get to that in just a moment. But the high tomorrow is just 19 degrees under a mix of sun and cloud. Those winds from the northwest. Now we'll take a look at the UV index. 7 or high tomorrow for the city. Thursday already tomorrow. And again, see what I mean? These temperatures. 1 tonight, 2 tomorrow for Churchill. Showers there. Cloudy for Gillam, Island Lake, Thompson. Rain will start tonight down to 7 there. It will continue tomorrow up to just 12 degrees. You'll see rain moving back into Gillam and Churchill. A little windy in Churchill too. Tonight, good chance of some showers through Lynn Lake down into Norway House. Drier but cloudy through Flin Flon and the Paw. 15 in those communities tomorrow. Showers likely with the risk of thunderstorms. Showers for Lynn Lake and for Norway House likely as well. A few clouds tonight across the southwest. Brandon down to 7. 6 overnight for Dauphin. Mix of sun and cloud around the region tomorrow with a low chance of afternoon showers. Highs in the upper teens between 17 18 and 19. Winnipeg in the southeast, a few clouds tonight. Overnight lows between 7 and 9 degrees, mix of sun and cloud. Tomorrow highs 18, 19 for most of us. And in northwestern Ontario, we have those non-severe thunderstorms and showers moving through now, and then tomorrow cloudy with highs between 16 and 18 degrees. Our first weather photo takes a good look at the downpour that happened northeast of Wawanesa at about 2:30 this afternoon. Ray captured that photo, and this, look how stunning this one is. This is from Brian. This is out at Barrier Bay in the White Shell. Email us your photos to winnipegweather@ctv.ca.
Another reason alcohol and water don't mix. What a new study says about the rate of drownings in Canada when people have been drinking. That's next in Medical Watch. A new national poll finds most Canadians end mental health care before it helps. It's just one of the key findings of Mental Health Research Canada's latest quarterly report. And joining me now to discuss the significance of the new data is Akila Peoples, CEO of Mental Health Research Canada. Akila, good to speak with you.
Thank you so much for having me today.
First, can you just give us an idea of what is driving Canadians out of care? Why are they ending care so soon?
Well, this data that we've been collecting back into early in the pandemic is data straight from Canadians. And Canadians, in fact, 56% of Canadians who have accessed care have told us that they have left care earlier than planned or before they should have left it. And they're also telling us that they've left because they couldn't relate to the care or it wasn't meeting their needs. So those are very personal reasons.
Yeah, if Canadians aren't getting the help they need, what are the implications of this?
Well, you know, this is very interesting because often we talk about access and long wait times, and access is often the goal, but this study reveals that it's not just access. That does not mean people's needs are being met. So we need to ensure that service providers and policymakers are making sure Canadians are getting the kind of help that they need that's relevant and focuses on continuity of care.
Now, you have some Manitoba-specific numbers that were generated through this study regarding the mental health of people on the prairies. Can you give us some highlights of, things that stand out?
Yes, happy to. Respondents from Manitoba and Saskatchewan combined reported the highest level of self-reported anxiety in the country at 14% compared to 11% for the rest of the country. So that's concerning, of course. And then the secondary finding around that only half of the respondents from the prairies rated themselves in the low anxiety range. That means the other half are in the medium, high, or unsure category. So this is revealing some pressure and strain in the prairies.
How can the findings from this report help shape the future of mental health support across this country?
Well, I do want to underscore what I said a moment ago, and that is that we need to make sure the kind of care that Canadians are getting are specific to their needs. And all demographics have different needs, and even people have different needs at different times in their lives. So it's not a one-size-fits-all. We also know from the information we get from Canadians is that they want care that's relevant to them, that is easy to access. So we need to meet people where they are and perhaps think differently about how we're providing care and go into places where individuals are rather than waiting for individuals to get into lines and find care.
Very important discussion. Akila, thanks so much for your insight into the data tonight. It was really great speaking with you.
Thanks so much for having us.
Youth who are drowning are much less likely to be rescued when alcohol is present. That's according to a new study out of Simon Fraser University. Researchers looked at 11 years of data related to drowning deaths among those aged 18 and younger across Canada. On average, they found rescues were attempted nearly 80% of the time and 96% of the time if the person drowning was an infant. However, the presence of alcohol quadrupled the risk of a rescue attempt not being made. And of the preteens who died, nearly half drowned while in the company of other minors, but no adults. Summer is now in full swing, and as the temperatures rise, heat and humidity can be especially dangerous for those with declining cognition.
Our patients are very much likely to develop dehydration, heat stroke, and other complications from the heat earlier than an average person would if they were outside for too long.
Dr. Hiba Khan with Cleveland Clinic says spending too much time in the summer heat and humidity is especially dangerous for those experiencing cognitive decline. It's hard for their bodies to sense and react to changes in temperature, and they may not be able to communicate how they're feeling. To keep these patients safe, Khan says they should always have a companion since plain water is not always well received by some dementia patients. She says to try flavored water or fruits with high water content like watermelon to help their hydration. And you should make sure they always wear sun protective clothing.
Sweating also changes actually with dementia, so most patients are not sweating like an average person would, and that's an important mechanism that our body has to let some of the heat out.
Finally, Khan says to watch for warning signs like sudden changes in mental status, confusion, and disorientation. Experts say families that share meals enjoy an abundance of benefits such as improved emotional satisfaction and healthier diets. However, a new study finds parents are on their devices during meals even more than their kids. The survey of more than 350 parents found more than 3/4 of them reported media use during their last family meal, mainly smartphone use. Parents also said their children were almost as likely to have used media, with nearly 70% of them also engaging in some form of media use. The kids' ages ranged from 4 to 10. Experts say making the time for even one dedicated family meal a week with phones put away for 20 to 30 minutes could be worth it. The findings were published in the journal JAMA Pediatrics.
Medical Watch is brought to you by Manuke and Koster Denture Clinic.
From Middle Earth to your ears when you can catch the Lord of the Rings with full orchestral accompaniment right here in Winnipeg. Spotlight is next.
Spotlight, sponsored by the Casinos of Winnipeg, presenting Charlie Barron's.
Musicians are bringing the sounds of Middle Earth to Winnipeg, and this weekend you can catch the Lord of the Rings, the Fellowship of the Ring, live in concert. You will have the opportunity to experience Howard Shore's Academy Award-winning score performed in conjunction with the film at Centennial Concert Hall. 250 musicians will take the stage from Philharmonic Orchestra, Prairie Voices Family of Choirs, Winnipeg Youth Chorus, and Winnipeg Boys Choir.
Oh, it's different. It's a different experience, and because the orchestra is loud, which when they mix it for the movie theater is not always the case. They can make it very soft, so you don't really hear it. Here you hear the whole thing, so it's a much more musical and emotional experience, honestly, than watching the movie normally.
There are 2 shows set for Friday and Saturday evenings at 7:30. You can find tickets by visiting centennialconcerthall.com. The 2026 Country Thunder Show at Princess Auto Stadium just added a new act after a big star has officially dropped out. Canadian singer Josh Ross has been added to the lineup. He's best known for his #1 hit song, Single Again. But if you were hoping to see Kane Brown, you are out of luck. The festival announced due to unforeseen circumstances, he is unable to appear at Country Thunder in Winnipeg. Festival headliner Bailey Zimmerman is still set to perform, and Co Wetzel is also on the bill. Country Thunder kicks off on Friday, July 3rd. Well, you can set the mood at this upcoming holiday season when the Tenors return to Winnipeg.
I've got my love to keep me warm.
The Dulcet Foursome is bringing their Season of Hope tour to Club Region Event Center November 25th. You can expect to hear holiday classics along with uplifting original songs celebrating the warmth of the season. Tickets go on sale Friday through Ticketmaster. Here is your Wednesday primetime lineup. The Big Bang Theory kicks things off at 7. The Rainmaker is at 8. And at 9, catch The Rebuild inside the Montreal Canadiens. It's all right here tonight on CTV.
The show must go on even when a 4-legged audience member storms the stage. That story's still ahead.
Women's clothing provided by RW & Company. Salon services provided by S&T Spa Salon.
17 degrees and cloudy right now in Winnipeg. Winds diminishing, 26 kilometers an hour now coming from the north-northeast. 19 was about as high as we could muster today when the normal high is closer to 24. 1995 on this day, 37.8 degrees, the record set for today. 8 is the overnight low tonight, clearing tonight. Mix of sun and cloud Thursday, 19. 19 again on Friday. Mix of sun and cloud also with the possibility of showers. 20 on Saturday. We'll get a mix of sun and cloud. Father's Day, 22 degrees, 23 to start off the week Monday, Tuesday.
Thanks, Colleen. As any actor knows, the show must go on. And that was the case in Turkey recently when an unexpected actor tried to interrupt the final scene of a live stage on play. Yes, take a look at this. That is a stray cat that made its way onto the stage of an outdoor performance of the Shakespeare classic Romeo and Juliet. As you can see, well, Juliet is pouring her heart over the body of her recently deceased lover. That cat was preoccupied with Romeo's hair. But that actor, to his credit, maintained his composure. The production company says it's not uncommon for stray cats to meander on stage. In fact, another one decided to join them during rehearsals. Like, get me tickets to this stat because I like this more than without the cats.
They certainly add to the performance.
I'm all for I'm all for surprise.
You're all for it, right?
Cats, actors. Yes, I fully support this.
Yeah,
all right, that does it for us tonight. Have a good evening. We'll see you back here tomorrow. Oh, and remember, tomorrow we have FIFA coverage, so you have to join us on our website at 6 o'clock for our newscast.